All right, let's go ahead and review what we've talked about so far to make sure everyone understood it. So let's start back with cold front. So here comes the cold. Cold is stronger and faster moving than the warm, pushing the warm air up, causing there to be a lot of precipitation and a lot of quick bad weather. Let's review warm. In warm front, you've got the warm air mass this time is much stronger, but it's really slow moving, but it's able to overpower the weaker cold air mass. The warm air pushes up and takes over the cold air mass, causing multiple days of rain, light rain, clouds, and fog. The stationary front, you have two equal strength air masses pushing against each other. As the warm air pushes against the cold, you have lots of clouds form, and you're going to have like quite a few days of rain and stormy, drizzly weather and clouds as the two air masses eventually combine. And last, and probably the most confusing, is the occluded front. The fast-moving cold air catches up to a cool air, causing the warm air to get pushed up, caught in between, causing big storms and hard rain and thunderstorms. That's the occluded front, where the warm air gets trapped in between the two cold. Now let's go ahead and see what you put for all of your images. So, draw a cold front diagram. When you look at yours, let's see if you did it correctly. If you still haven't done it, please pause, draw yours, and then check your work. Okay? Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to draw my curved line, and it is a cold front. Sorry, those are not very good triangles, and they should have blue triangles. Let's look at a warm front. Warm front, it's that curved line, but this time you've got semicircles, a little harder to do on the computer. And then last but not least are our stationary and occluded. Remember that the stationary, the two are going the opposite direction, so I've got kind of my line. And then I'm going to have blue triangle going one direction, and a blue triangle. And then I'm going to have red semicircles going the other way because remember they're pushing against each other. Sorry, that is a little messy. There we go. And the occluded is usually going to be purple. They're all going the same direction and kind of mix. So I have a triangle, a semicircle, a triangle, a semicircle. And those are my diagrams. Now let's go ahead and put this into application. So now we're looking at a weather map, and I want you to use what you have learned to do some prediction, okay? So notice it says H is high pressure and L is low pressure. I want you to start looking for a pattern of where we see, what kind of weather we see with the low pressure versus the high, okay? But we're going to look at that in a minute. Let's first start with the first question. What type of weather can St. Louis, Missouri expect in the days following this map, and why did you make that prediction? So I'm going to look at St. Louis, Missouri right here, okay? I see that there's a cold front and a warm front moving toward it. It's going to definitely have some precipitation. I want you to think about what we've talked about, and I wonder which one will hit St. Louis first. So take a minute, write in what you think. What is your prediction? Okay? If you said that St. Louis can expect cold and rainy or stormy weather, you are correct. Our because statement. Well, the cold front will hit first because cold fronts, remember, they move faster because the cold air mass hits faster. So the cold front is heading toward St. Louis. Press timer. Describe why the area southeast of Atlanta is experiencing the weather that it is. Sorry, my timer is going off. One moment. Okay. So I look at southeast of Atlanta. Here's Atlanta. Here's southeast. And I want you to think about, why is it having the kind of weather it is? Okay. So write what you think here. Think about what we've talked about. And last but not least, true or false, fronts can help us predict the weather. Okay? At this point, you have completed everything on this activity page. So now I want you to make sure your name's on that. We're going to collect this at the end of class, and I want to look at that other question, which had to do with high and low pressure. So I want you to look at this map right now. I want you to look for how many different types of fronts that you see in this diagram. Go ahead, pause the video, and count how many you see and how you know. When you are done, go ahead and press play. If you said 2 fronts, you're correct. There are more than 2 fronts here, but there's 2 types. Right here is a warm front that is headed this way, and this one is a cold front, which is moving this way. Notice where the fronts are. They are in the low pressure regions, which makes sense because air moves from high to low pressure. So when you're having high pressure, the weather is moving away from you. When you're having low pressure, the weather is moving towards you because air moves from high to low. Let's look at one more. This time, go ahead, look here, see how many different types of fronts you see, pause, and then press play when you're ready. Okay, let's go ahead and look. Right now, up here is that purple. Notice it goes triangle, semicircle, triangle, semicircle. That would be an occluded front. Right here, we see red, blue, right here, and they're all going different directions. That would be a stationary front. So this area here would be having quite a bit of rain and fog. This area up here would be having kind of cooler weather, and they would start having some storms. Right here we've got cold front right here because it's just blue triangles. So right here, this area is going to have stormy, possibly tornado-like conditions. And right here and here, we've got a warm front, which means areas here and here are going to have warmer but rainy weather. Notice once again the low and high pressure. High pressure, there's nothing here. They're having nice clear weather. L for low is where we're seeing those fronts moving through, because remember, air moves from high to low pressure, causing the bad weather, bad because some people like that kind of weather, what we would call worse weather, more weather conditions around those areas of low pressure. So at this point, think about what you know. You should know there's 4 types of fronts. You should be able to describe the 4 types of fronts, and you should be able to tell me how they predict weather. Okay? Good job. Make sure you turn in your sheet when you're done.